The latest album from Heems, Lafandar, is his first solo project in nearly 10 years, but he hasn't missed a step since. This project is fully produced by Lapgan, which allows for a level of consistency that we can really only get when a rapper and producer lock in with each other for an entire project. The production does well to supplement the project by mixing in South Asian sounds and influences with a boom bap bass, while not really going over the top with it like we may have heard on some of Madlib's beat conductor tapes back in the day. The project itself is pretty short and easy to listen to at a track length of 12 songs with a runtime of 33 minutes. And honestly, this is a trend that I've really been appreciating from older artists, because you don't have to make a long album full of filler. You can just make something short, get your point across, and then be done with it. And you're not really overstaying your welcome. You're not confusing listeners with a bunch of different sounds. It's just very consistent all the way through. Now, with that said, looking at this project, it can at times be hard to figure out what the singular topic or theme that's present all the way through is, because even in individual songs, Heems does and can jump from idea to idea. Sometimes it feels like it's up to the listeners to connect everything, but I think a lot of it makes sense when you look at the title of the project. The title of the project, Lafandar, roughly translates to a person that's mischievous or unpredictable, and that's a bit of what we got here. Heems approached this project with the intent of making a rap album, but not necessarily one that's rooted in any current trends. In my mind, much of this album feels like it could have been pulled straight from 2013, but that's not a bad thing. Around that time, we were firmly planted in the blog era, where a lot of artists were trying to make a name for themselves and break into the mainstream. However, there was also a significant subsection of artists that were kind of doing what they wanted to do and in general seemed to be having more fun with their music. And that's where this album fits in for me, because Heems could have easily talked about his journalistic or business or even his teaching sides, but instead he swings from tangent to tangent in a way that only a brown uncle can. There are plenty of moments where Heems makes references that are mostly for himself, but also just other brown people, like talking about Hing on Bukaya Saka, or saying that his shooters are named Happy, Bunty, or Lovely, which are just common nicknames, but also invoked the image of a bunch of aunties aggressively holding rolling pins in my mind. We also get another specific reference on Kalatika where he mentions getting his V's and W's mixed up while he's speaking. The feature selection throughout the project is also really solid, and no one really feels out of place, or none of the features feel forced, which honestly, for an album full of pretty unique sounds and production, can be difficult to pull off. I think it also really does help that a lot of the artists that are featured here do have a similar style and overall vibe to Heems. For example, he has Open Mike Eagle on the track Yellow Chakras, and he fits perfectly, but that could also just be because both of them have a similar rhyme style, rhyme schemes, and just general sense of humor, so they complement each other well. I guess it also helps that these artists that are featured just tend to rap on less conventional beats like these. Now, as far as the project is concerned, I think it's really solid, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to it. The thing is, though, even in the past, or at the peak of this sort of rap style, this wasn't necessarily something that I would listen to regularly. It was something that I would listen to and appreciate because I thought it was fun and because it was different. But as far as lasting power, I don't really recall too many albums that have stuck. That could just be because those albums are more nostalgic at this point, and I don't really want to listen to them regularly. And, it was also over 10 years ago, and I was a different mindset entirely. But I don't know. This album, on the other hand, it does feel like it could last a bit longer. Maybe because Heems is rapping from the perspective of an older person. He's been through a lot of things in life. He's experienced a lot of things. And I think I'm just more interested in what he has to say now. And that very well could also just be because he's a Punjabi man in his late 30s, and now I'm in my 30s. So I feel like I can connect to a lot of things that he's saying on some level. Or it could just be because he's rapping from a more mature perspective than he was back in the day, and similar to a bunch of other artists at that time. With all that said, while this project was definitely more rap focused, he did mention that he has another project coming out soon. I think he's aiming for May, if I remember correctly. That project will still feature some raps, presumably, but it's going to be more focused on the artistic and musicality of Heems rather than just pure raps. So maybe for the fans who were looking for more of a overall reflection on life from him, that might be what you want to look at or listen to or look forward to. But for what we got here, I think we really did get a solid project and just a bunch of good raps that are fun. Some of my favorite tracks are Stupid Dumb Illiterate, Accent, Kalatika, and Yellow Chakra. But that's all I got for this review. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this album if you've listened to it. If you haven't, like I said, it's 12 tracks, 33 minutes. You got 33 minutes. What else are you doing with your day? But yeah, let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, like and subscribe to see more rambling and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.